Welcome to today's video. First, we will challenge the old belief that renting is throwing money away. Then, we will explore why, especially for high earners, renting can be a smarter path to wealth than stretching to buy a home. Stay with me as we uncover the hidden costs of ownership, the risk of overspending on a mortgage, and the power of waiting while investing the difference. Next, here is our roadmap. We will bust the rent is waste myth, define safe versus risky mortgage payment ratios, explain why borrowing from a retirement account is dangerous, quantify hidden home ownership costs, demonstrate the mathematical advantage of waiting and investing, show you how to run your own rent versus buy analysis, and finish with a clear checklist. Before we dive in, a brief but important disclaimer. This video is for education only, not financial advice. Everyone's situation is different, depending on income variability, location, taxes, time horizon, and risk tolerance. Please consult a qualified professional before acting. Now, let us separate myth from reality. The phrase, renting is throwing money away, ignores the value of flexibility, lower fixed expenses, and the opportunity to invest the difference. Housing is both shelter and a financial decision. By prioritizing a sustainable payment, you protect your financial stability. A common safety guideline is to keep PITI, meaning principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, at roughly 25 to 30% of gross income. Moving on, this decision flowchart helps you determine whether to buy now or wait. Start at considering a home purchase. The first gate is whether your PITI will be at or below 30% of gross income. If it is not, the chart routes you to wait and invest the difference. If it is, the next check is whether you maintain an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months, even after the down payment and closing costs. If that fails, you should continue renting and build reserves. If you pass, the next question is your time horizon. A 7-year or longer holding period improves the odds of covering transaction costs and market variability. Finally, the chart flags borrowing from a retirement account. If you would need to raid a 401k, the guidance is to avoid, protect compounding, and consider private mortgage insurance or simply waiting. Alongside, it reminds you to budget 1 to 2% of the home's value annually for maintenance. Next, let us define the mortgage danger zone. While a safe band is around 25 to 30% of gross income, pushing to 40 or 45% of take-home pay drastically reduces flexibility. High fixed costs mean routine surprises become crises. Think repairs, job changes, or even higher insurance and tax assessments. If your current rent is low, leaping to a much larger mortgage magnifies the risk. Continuing on, here are the hidden costs many first-time buyers overlook. A common rule is to set aside 1 to 2% of the home's value every year for maintenance and capital expenditures. On a $375,000 home, that is between $3,750 and $7,500 per year, or roughly $300 to $625 per month. Additionally, reserves for big-ticket items such as the roof, HVAC, and appliances should be accounted for, which further increases the true monthly cost of ownership. Furthermore, let us compare borrowing from a retirement account with paying private mortgage insurance or simply waiting. Borrowing from a retirement account sacrifices tax-advantaged compounding, introduces job loss repayment risk, and can trigger penalties and taxes if repayment fails. It also concentrates risk in a single, illiquid asset. In contrast, paying private mortgage insurance or waiting preserves retirement growth, maintains liquidity and an emergency fund, reduces stress, and positions you for better debt-to-income ratios and loan terms when you eventually purchase. Now, let us quantify the benefit of waiting. Suppose your projected mortgage payment, including principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, is $3,800, but your current rent is $2,000. If you invest the $1,800 difference each month over 3 years at a 7% annual return, the future value of that series would be approximately $72,000 to $74,000. Recognizing that markets vary, this larger down payment reduces your debt-to-income ratio and gives you flexibility when inevitable repairs occur. Always use a rent versus buy calculator tailored to your location to determine the exact tipping point. Next, here is how to run your own numbers. First, collect inputs for rent and your hypothetical purchase, including price, down payment, interest rate, property taxes, homeowners insurance, HOA fees, and private mortgage insurance, if applicable. Second, add a maintenance budget of 1 to 2% of home value annually. Third, choose a time horizon of at least 7 years to spread closing costs. Fourth, apply the safety rule, keeping PITI near 25 to 30% of gross income. Fifth, compare buying now to renting and investing the difference. Finally, stress test your plan against job interruptions, repair spikes, interest rate changes, and rent increases. Quiz time. What is a commonly recommended safe range for PITI as a share of gross income? Options are A. 25 to 30%, B. 40 to 45%, C. 50%, D. Whatever the lender approves. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is A. Keeping PITI near 25 to 30% of gross income preserves flexibility and reduces financial risk. Second quiz. Which choice is generally the most harmful to long-term wealth if used for a down payment? Options are A. Borrowing from your 401k, B. Paying private mortgage insurance temporarily, C. Waiting and saving, D. Budgeting 1 to 2% for maintenance. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is A. Borrowing from a retirement account sacrifices compounding and introduces the risk of forced repayment if employment ends. Paying private mortgage insurance or waiting typically preserves long-term wealth better. Now, consider a high earner paying $2,000 in rent. The potential purchase would require about $3,800 per month for PITI, plus approximately $400 for maintenance, bringing the true monthly cost to around $4,200. If the renter instead invests the $1,800 difference monthly, compounding builds a stronger down payment and liquidity. Later, they can purchase with a lower debt-to-income ratio and better terms, while avoiding unnecessary stress. At this point, it is worth clarifying that buying is not inherently bad. Buying can be a strong financial move when your PITI is at or below 30% of gross income, you maintain a 3 to 6 month emergency fund after closing, you plan to stay at least 7 years, and you consistently budget 1 to 2% for maintenance. To recap the safety checklist, keep PITI near 25 to 30% of gross income. Do not raid your retirement account for a down payment. Always budget 1 to 2% of home value per year for maintenance. Hold at least 3 to 6 months of expenses in an emergency fund after closing. Use a rent versus buy calculator and stress test your assumptions. If your rent is low, invest the difference until buying aligns with these safeguards. In summary, renting is not wasteful when it preserves flexibility and enables investing. Overstretching for a mortgage can harm wealth and stability. Protect retirement accounts because compounding is irreplaceable. Budget for hidden costs to avoid surprises. Waiting and investing can position you to purchase later with better terms and lower risk. Finally, thank you for watching. If this helped you rethink rent versus buy, please like the video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more evidence-based money decisions. Tell me in the comments whether renting or buying makes more sense in your city and why. I would love to hear your experiences.